and welcome back. It's good to see so many new club members and to see so many of you last month who upgraded from being a lover, the single bottle, up to connoisseur level.
Yeah, welcome. Welcome up the tier.
Yeah, welcome up the tier. We think that's the best way to enjoy the club because you get the full experience, the true essence of the topic, where you get to see both the wines of the themes side by side. And our theme for this month is raw nature.
Yeah.
We're looking at champagnes that are from vine to wine. So we're looking at the purest expression of champagne, so abstaining from any added sugar, so no dosage and minimal levels of sulfur, and we'll go into a bit more detail on both of those elements, but effectively we're looking at a really pure champagnes. And you know what? Fantastic wines for this month, but it isn't for the faint-hearted.
No, we're gonna attack those taste buds.
It's balls deep this month. Here, we're putting you in the deep end. Can I say that? We can say that. We're friends now. We're 2 months in for some of you and a long time with many of you.
I have not heard that expression for champagne before, but we'll go there.
It is really, really powerful this month. We have got two sensational champagnes. We're looking at a tiny micro producer called Val Frison and Maison Drapier, whom we love.
Yep.
Kiri, just touching on that theme ever so quickly.
Yes.
Sugar, dosage. We add sugar at 2 points in the winemaking process. The first time it's added is when the blend goes into the bottle and we add yeast and sugar to trigger second fermentation in the bottle. All of that sugar is completely eaten up by the yeast, leaving the wine completely dry, and then a winemaker has a second opportunity to add dosage. Just as the cork comes out to extract the yeast, a little liquor sugar goes in, but it's purely for taste.
Correct. So you can have dosage in so many different ways, and each producer has their own approach in how they make the dosage. And what we're looking at here is wines that have zero dosage. So we're looking purely at how the wines are made in the vineyard, how they're handled in the winery, and what you get as a final result. Okay, so first house this month is Champagne Drappier, based in Eurville in the Côte d'Ivoire, in a beautiful village. And
gorgeous piece of champagne. And not many people make it there because
they don't get as far.
Champagne's really long, right? So you've got 34,500 hectares, but from, let's say, Reims, the north of Champagne, all the way down to the bottom in the Orbe where Drapier and Val Frison are located, that's a 2-hour journey?
Oh, yeah, about an hour and a half, absolutely, yeah, hour and a half to 2 hours.
2 hours?
Well, it's 90 kilometres, so it's about the same distance as it is from
It'll take you 3 hours if you're pissed, though.
That's right, because you get lost along the way. Amazing family. They have a 12th century Clairvaux Abbey cellars.
Oh, it's beautiful.
And when you do go there, or some of you that have actually been with us, you come in that way and you see it so beautifully quaint and so old, but all the winery, which is modern, is in the back, and actually all their storage facilities based in Reims. So they've got sort of things everywhere.
And we've got oodles of pedigree, oodles of history, oodles of winemaking talent, family owned for generations. This was really put on the map, this champagne, because it was the favorite champagne of General Charles de Gaulle.
Charles de Gaulle, that's right.
So, really
he fell in love with it.
He loved the Drapier Maison and was a big advocate, so very important for the growth of the brand. They produce about 1.5 million bottles a year, so still quite small in relative terms, but certainly big for down in that region of the Orbe for a grower family that own their own fruit predominantly. Correct.
So, I mean, at the moment, they've got they were selling many years ago to Piper Heidsieck and Moet Chandon. And the great-grandfather, Georges Drapier, he decided, and this is actually really important history for the entire region, right, of the Côte d'Ivoire, he decided enough with Gamay. Yes,
that was the grape
Gamay
that
was the great variety. Let's plant Pinot Noir. So he became Père Pinot, or Father Pinot, in the south. And then André, his son, continued this on and started actually producing their own wine, the Carte d'Or, which is the first cuvée of their house, in 1952. And that's when Charles de Gaulle came along and sort of fell in love with the house, and back in, I think it was in 79 and so on.
So Pinot Noir dominant.
Pinot Noir
very
is the
natural
focus
winemaking
of the entire Côte d'Ivoire.
But I love that Michel Drapier says, I would prefer a healthy vineyard than a sick one. So he's
sick organic one.
Sick organic vineyard.
Yeah.
So he'll use organic treatment as far as he can, but if there's an issue, then he will stop it by utilizing another treatment that's a little bit stronger. I love the house because they're one of the first that are almost carbon neutral. They're incredibly committed to the environment.
Completely carbon offset by purchasing
solar panels,
but also investing in wind farms in different parts of the world to offset their carbon emissions.
And the other distinguishing factor is the house are famous for a low use of sulfur, and we will discuss that when we get to the wine.
So the first wine this month, oh dang, we're going straight into rosé. Now I know this divides some of you, and some of you are like, oh, why have I got rosé? And other people are like, yay, rosé. This wine is pretty sensational. We have a Saignée method, Brut Nature champagne from Drapier. They do make a few other rosés, don't they? They make the Grand Cendré, which is their top rosé.
Is this the first time we've had this wine at Emperor?
Yes.
Yeah.
And then they make the other one, which we have on our site as well, which is the Rosé de Saignée. So it's kind of confusing. There's a couple of Saignés in there.
Okay, so let's talk firstly.
We've got to talk about dosage for the one that's currently available versus this one.
Yes, but I also just want to clarify the technique. Now, some of you aficionados know that there's two methods of making rosé. You've got assemblage, to blend. So they effectively take the Pinot Noir out of the vineyard, crush the skin, produce a red wine. So by leaching the color and tannin out of the skin into the wine, draining off the skins, and then blending a red wine and a white wine together. This method is different. It's the crushing of the grapes and letting 100% of the juice macerate with the skin and then fermenting it. So it's 100% Pinot Noir wine. Medium intensity is what I would suggest. It's not too light, it's not too deep. There are other cuvées, other Saignés that are a little bit deeper than this one.
Yeah.
But I think the distinguishing factor is, of course, low sulfur and an abstaining from any dosage. So there's no added sweetness whatsoever. And what that lack of dosage does is really heighten the experience of the Saignée. You've got to remember, for the first time, you've got skin contact in this wine.
And a little bit of tannin.
Tannin.
Some powderiness.
That's right. So
play.
you're going to have two very distinct elements to this wine. Number one, take your time on enjoying the aroma. It's bountiful, so you've got cherry and strawberry jam and sort of aniseed and this, Turkish delight and all these wonderful sort of slightly spicy characteristics.
Aperol. It's almost like an Aperol vibe, that summer, very summery in the glass. And when you smell the notes, there's almost like that hibiscus, the cherry, all those kind of things. You think it's going to be really sweet, and it's actually quite the opposite in terms of flavour. So,
and could I say it could be jarring for you? So that's why I want everybody to get their head out of what you expect rosé to be before you drink this wine, because I don't want you putting this wine in your glass going, I don't like it, or it's not like anything you'll have ever had before. So try and reframe your position on this wine. Think of it more like a dry Provençal rosé with a little bit of bubble. You've got a little bit of dry tannin that finishes on the tongue like a powdery finish from the skin of the grape, but you've got this bountiful complexity, but super dry on the palate. Now, I love that about the wine. Low sulfur, no dosage, Saignée method, 100% Pinot, food pairing.
Food pairing. Just a quick note on that. You put a Provençal rosé. I think that's actually...
Is it too sweet?
No. Provençal rosé is the blend, right? Super light pale, salmon pink. That's almost like assemblage. In the Rhone, they make a Tavel rosé, and the Rhone's with Syrah and things like that. And it has that deep, gorgeous, earthy vibe going on, and it's great with foods. And for foods, you were thinking of a pâté?
So instantly my mind says I want a little crusty toast.
Crouton.
A crouton. I want pâté, a duck liver pâté. I'm sorry for all you vegetarians. There's no substitute as far as I know. Mushroom?
There could be a mushroom pâté.
Yeah, maybe.
So you could flip the switch because it's Pinot, works with mushrooms beautifully.
Yeah, that's true.
If you want to go that way,
and
guys.
Earthiness. So I think a little pâté with just a little sweetness coming from a jelly. It could be a cranberry, it could be a strawberry jelly. That would work wonders because you're actually doing a juxtaposition of flavors. You've got the richness and the fattiness from the pâté contrasting with the dryness, and they would work beautifully in harmony together. But uber cool summer wine, great for Christmas lunch, this champagne.
Correct.
So club members, you know that we love to hunt high and low to bring you interesting champagnes to complement our themes every month. For all of you connoisseurs, you are getting a tiny, weeny little micro cuverie, also located down in the south of Champagne in a little village called...
What's the village called?
Ville-sur-Asse.
Can you say that again?
Ville-sur-Asse.
You say it so prettily.
Don't distract me. Ville-sur-Asse, down in the Orb for the third time. The maison is Val Frison. Valerie Frison is the winemaker. Yep. She's running solo with her boys.
6 hectares of land, only tiny.
6 hectares.
Compared to 100 odd with Drapier.
Yeah, but even putting that into context, you know, she's selling 2.5 off to a cooperative, and up until 2012, she was selling 2.5 to de Val-le-Roi, beautiful house. She's just taken that estate back because she's growing her brand and her reputation. This is also a Blanc de noirs, so 100% Pinot Noir. Very interesting winemaker. Now, Val is a woman of passion. So we're talking biodynamic, so no organic and biodynamic, so organic, abstaining from the use of any pesticides and herbicides, only homeopathic treatments. She's got ground cover growing between each of her vines.
Cover crops.
But what's really interesting, she said that each plot of grapes, something completely different grows between each plot of grapes,
so she's
organically.
Got 3 different vineyard sites for this particular wine that goes into this wine, and on each of them, and also on the Chardonnay plot, which is a smaller plot, she has different cover crops that grow in because of the nature of the soil being clay versus limestone. So really interesting.
It's cool. So that's obviously giving a little bit of healthy competition to the roots, making them work harder in the soil. She is specializing in Pinot Noir yet again. She ferments in barrels, so she's doing the primary fermentation in barrel. The wines are pretty young. So
where are the barrels from?
Burgundy.
Okay, why is that important to winemaking?
Well, you know what? They are natural neighbours. So you're actually closer to Burgundy than you are to the heart of Champagne, where they're located down in the Orb.
And there's lots of great oak down there, isn't there?
There's a lot of great oak. You know, so that's her technique.
Yeah, cool.
She doesn't add, she's using natural yeast, so she's not adding packet yeast. She's no fining, no filtration, no manipulation, no sugar.
Yeah.
So this is vine to wine. It is completely natural.
When we're talking artisanal, this is the very essence of that. And small production. It's literally 100 times smaller than Drapier.
Okay, so let's put this into
context.
context.
1.5 million bottles per annum.
15,000, and you have a lot of them.
So we've got plenty coming to you. So it's great to see the wine. Beautiful to see them side by side from similar villages.
Knockout.
Same variety, but made entirely differently.
Yeah, super cool. I just want to touch on the power of scent and how that can really transport you somewhere else, you know, whether it's a moment in time or an experience or a feeling. And the minute that I put my schnoz in this glass, it transported me back 5 years, in fact, almost 6 years, to my 10-year anniversary working in the champagne industry.
I know what you're going to say here. It's reminded you of a wine that you love. It's actually one of my favorite wines.
I love. So for my 10-year anniversary, we couldn't decide what to drink, so we drank everything in our cellar with a couple of really close groups of customers. But, you know, we had Dom Perignon, we had Dom Runa, we had all these big wines, but we had a wine by a winemaker who I think is a legend. His name is Bertrand Gouthreau, and his house is Vouette et Sorbet. It is iconic in the south. And I see so much of Vouette and Sorbet Fidèle in this glass that it literally takes me back into this beautiful room, reminds me of the feeling, the dress I was wearing, everything. And that is the power of scent. We have a wildly impressive champagne here. Now, it's not going to be for everyone, and I really want you to think outside the box that you know champagne to be, or the bottle, and get somewhere else with this, because it's so uberly different.
And a lot of you will have had champagnes in your lifetime leading up until wines like this, where they have been dressed up with a dosage. They have had some really nice use of oak. They have been prettied up. You know, when we're talking raw nature or raw nature or brut nature, we're looking at it in its entirety, in its simplicity, in its purest form. And that can be jarring, like Carla said, but there is so much to discover.
There's so much going on.
Because you're seeing it as it should be.
Drink this slowly with time, and I'm going to give you my food pairing, which is a cracker at the end, but I think you'll enjoy it. Nose in the glass. So you've got this energetic mousse, you've got this deep golden color. It is all Pinot Noir. It is completely natural. You know, I got this bubblegum grape characteristic when I first put my nose in the glass. It simmered down
like
a little bit.
Blueberry hubba bubba or something like that.
Yeah.
But there was that lovely floral element, like a hibiscus. There was
violet.
There was cranberry or pomegranate, those or rhubarb,
Yeah.
those sort of earthier
Blackberry,
flavors.
blueberry, and then after time it kind of settled down. It gave you something more earthy, that clay character, which is really reminiscent of the soil type down in the south, that Kimmeridgian clay which it sits on.
And there's that sort of almost smoky, flinty overtone, which shows to me that sort of slightly oxidative winemaking, but also slightly reductive in some cases.
Correct, and I think it's divisive. So you either love this, but it is a connoisseur's wine. For all you connoisseurs, this is not something that you would give to a punter at the Melbourne Cup and they'd be like, what on earth is this? You know, this is for an educated palate. It's for someone that's really ready to take their journey with champagne and look at something that's off the beaten track of that mainstream Grand Marque entry-level champagne.
And can I just say that flavor profile, when it first hits your palate, it's like this uber dry mineral tension. It's a tension that sits on the tongue, and then it just softens. And that's when the flavors sort of start to come on. That's when you start to see and feel the wine in a way that you wouldn't do on the first sip. So stick with it and it starts to change.
You know, in recap here with raw, you've got no added sugar, you've got no fining, no filtration, you've got low sulfur. So sulfur, just to be clear, sulfur dioxide, it is a natural product. It's added to wine for two primary reasons. Number one, to stop the wine from being affected by oxygen, to stop it from changing color or developing some undesirable aromas, but it's also for preservation of the wine. But there's two negatives to counteract the two positives. One, the negative is that it binds to the wine, so it does actually suppress a little bit of the wine's character, aroma, and complexity. And there's a lot of chitter-chatter amongst the winemakers in Burgundy and Champagne that the sulfur dioxide is compressing, squashing the personality of the wine. So you're seeing two very expressive wines. Number two, you do have some people who have adverse reactions to sulfur. So 1% of the population gets that flushed cheeks and...
Yeah, and we know that there are a few club members out there that actually have called in, have asked for low sulfur, sulfur-free Brut Nature champagne. So I'm sure you're gonna love these wines. And again, you know, let us know what you think when they come out.
The pairing, I just cannot forget the pairing because I want you to do it and I'm going to give it a go too. The ultimate pairing in my brain for this wine is a cheese souffle. Now you've got something that's uberly complex but dry. Cheese has got good taste, but you know what? The souffle is very simple and I think the pairing will be absolutely heaven. So Google a recipe, get a cheese souffle on the go, let me know how you go with it and I will do the same.
Well, that's it for this month. Thank you so much for tuning in, everyone, and I hope you're going to love your wines as much as we have. Certainly try the food pairings and share some of your experiences with us.
They're gourmand wines, aren't they?
They're very gourmand. They're definite food wines. Quick reminder, we have our annual Champagne Open Day, which is champagne and caviar at our warehouse on the 27th of November. It's a Saturday. We are praying that the heavens won't open with rain.
No, well, they never have before.
We've been very fortunate on every day. So
it's free for club members. You can also come down anytime you want. All the common folk need to book and pay a fee, but you guys, being club members, can come down anytime you want. We've got all our partners there. This is a fun day.
It's a great day.
Don't drive. No. Drink as much as you want. Come down, spend
Unless
some time.
Unless you've got designated driver for all the stock and wines you want to buy.
Exactly. Oh yeah, fill the carb boot. But come down, spend some time with us. Get your boots filled with champagne for Christmas, and we'll see you there. Kiri, great choice this month. I love both the wines.
Awesome.
Super interesting, very challenging, but very very impressive.
Awesome. See ya.
See you next month.
balls deep. I was like, oh, what? Don't get distracted.
I'm getting a piece of free
Don't
artwork.
get distracted. Focus. Focus.
Focus. Juby goodness.
Juby goodness.
Juby.
No. Juby goodness.
Juby goodness.
Would you say there's a little smoky funk?
Yeah, there is a smokiness
edge?
to it.
God, it sounds like a wanker.
There
is sort of smoky funk.
There is, and there's a...
Ville sur Ars. Ville sur Ars. Ars is the river.
Okay.
Oh my God, it just sounds so bad, doesn't it? Where do you live? Ville sur Ars? You know, the Ars is the river? That makes fucking sense. So, a tasting?
Yeah, can you let me lead and then you follow?
Yeah. Isn't that what normally happens?
Well,
With all men. Where the woman goes, the man shall follow.